Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast that wouldn't die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool will give up a chance for a 30% discount.
This is Willard, and these are his friends, Ben and Socrates.
I'm gonna have a big surprise tomorrow.
Willard takes good care of them,
What's that in your pocket? There's something in your pocket.
and they will do anything for Willard.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me as always is Aaron.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
This week, we're discussing the horror classic, Willard, starring Bruce Davison, Sandra Locke, who I totally forgot was in this movie.
Yes,
Ernest
in
Borgnine,
her most triumphant role.
Elsa Lanchester, who's in this,
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein. It's all
And
star
what was
cast.
she was it Nana something
Katie
or other?
Nana.
Katie Nana.
From Mary Poppins.
Nana?
Doesn't that make sense? No wonder the kids were acting up when their original nanny was the Bride of Frankenstein. I'm acting up in those
And
scenarios.
went on to get knocked up and have a child like Willard.
Yeah. I thought you were saying in real life. She went on to...
Why? This is a biography.
100% it is. Each week in the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics of the horror and sci-fi genres with a comedic twist. Aaron, are you topless for this episode? What is happening right now?
I am now. It's a woo! It's all naked all the time.
Oh, go ahead. Good Lord. No! This is that kind of podcast.
let's just let people think. Oh, hi.
You have to tune in to the YouTube show. Aaron is wearing, I only see like literally from, what is it, clavicle up, and yet all I see are bare shoulders. So I don't know what kind of show Aaron is putting on at
The Victorian era? Oh, you're showing a bit of the ankle last. You're a whore.
That's exactly what I was saying. Sweet Jesus.
I have, it's asymmetrical. I have a strap, but it does look more funny if I drop the strap.
Okay. Fair. How is life treating you? What's the latest?
Dude, I went to a concert on Saturday. I saw a fake David Bowie followed by fake Depeche Mode, and it was awesome.
What did fake David Bowie sing? Is my question to you.
Oh, no.
All the hits?
Yeah, he only was on for an hour, so both of them were only, it's all hits. I mean, we're not being a cover band and doing deep cuts.
Well, but Bowie's a particular case because there's 70s Bowie, there's 80s Bowie, there's 90s Bowie, and never.
Are you asking if he was doing cuts from Dark Star? No. He was
Yes!
70s and he was 70s and 80s Bowie, British dude wearing like kind of dressing 80s Bowie with like a suit and a vest and a dress shirt. But he sounded great. Apparently he's a Grammy-winning performer, but I couldn't tell you his name. And then the Depeche Mode cover band is Strange Love, and they play in LA all the time. They're like a big group. They have
that
like
sounds
a quote
familiar
from
to me.
Yeah. No, they play in LA and Orange County all the time. I'm sure they've been to like the Carriage House and all that. They have like a little quote from Martin Gore. But and the lead singer does all the little Dave Gahan moves and the butt shakes and everything. He's just like 40 years younger.
I don't mind a good cover band every now and again, right? I don't mind it.
Well, frankly, it's the only way I'm going to see David Bowie. So let's just put that out there.
That is true. That is true. I wanted to go see those yacht rock groups that are out there. There's like Yachtly Crew.
Yachtly Crew, yeah.
That's a big one. Go ahead.
You know, I'm not a big yacht rock fan. It's because I hate Steely Dan.
I'm not okay. Truth be told, I'm not a huge
Steely Dan.
Baby bro loves Steely Dan. I'm not a huge Steely Dan guy, but I don't really consider Steely Dan to be true yacht rock. I think
you're missing out on the whole documentary about yacht rock where it all spears off of them.
Right. In my mind, it's Michael McDonald is the true seed.
Not in love opposed to some Doobie Brothers, a little Michael McDonald. Not opposed. Opposed to Christopher Cross.
I'm kind of opposed to Christopher Cross.
Yeah, it's the other end of the bookend. And one end of the bookend is Steely Dan, and the other side is Christopher Cross. Opposed.
Well, there's some
stragglers and some scraps in between that I might be interested in, but as a genre on the whole, please.
They say that the reason why Steely Dan is outraged at being labeled yacht rock is because they do not want to be considered in the same group as Christopher Cross. This is what they say straight up. Who is
First of all, and on one side I could agree with that. On the other side, it just goes to how pretentious they are.
Oh, totally. 100%.
I don't want to agree, but I see what they're saying, but I still hate you even more now.
Absolutely. But the enemy of my enemy doesn't have to be my friend.
That's right. There is one Steely Dan song that I like. I don't want to do your dirty work. Oh, yeah. But you come at me with Ricky Don't Lose My Number, I'm swerving to hit you with my car.
Fair.
That shit.
Fair. I'm not running for the dial if Steely Dan comes on the radio, but
I will win.
I will. I'll put my head in my hands. Frankly, I'm listening to the radio anymore. Sadly, those days are over anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's a sad situation. Anyway.
But my Spotify likes to suggest.
Yes.
And sometimes they suggest. Yeah, sometimes they suggest wrong. That's for sure.
Well, you got it's AI. It's algorithm.
Of course it's algorithm. It's based on your other likes and other things in your playlist.
You have to sculpt that.
You have to sculpt, but it's not like Pandora where you make the wrong move and now you've destroyed 5 years of curated entertainment.
That is true. That is true.
Which is why once that happened, I was like, you, Pandora, you're dead to me. And I never looked back.
It is. Pandora, you make a wrong turn and there's no way back to the safe zone. Right. No. You're screwed. Sweet Jesus. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm not done yet. So because I was at this concert and I was talking to you about the band Air from the 90s.
So you French say.
Duo, and I will now fill your feed with songs by Air.
Please don't.
So I just was sitting in bed. I'm like, God damn it. No one's going to go to a concert with me. So again, I bought a single ticket. I was once at a concert. I went to go see. I stayed at your house for this. I went to see. It was Berlin, The Untouchables, and Madness. And I had the lone seat on the aisle next to this huge group of girls. And they were like, we decided to make the sad person who's sitting alone our friend. And it took me 20 minutes to pull my earplug out to go, what?
They kept talking to you and you just kind of ignored them?
I was using like the wax instead of the earplugs that have the handle. So I had to like stick a nail in it to dig this out. But I was like, dude, it is not sad to go to a concert by yourself. It's sad to not go to a concert because no one will go with you.
Fair. I think we can all live by that motto, honestly.
So right? I'll be at the Hollywood Bowl by myself in the middle of a row with strangers on either side, listening to some awesome music. So everyone who I sent a text to say, you want to go see Air with me with a DJ set by Bonobo.
The chimpanzee?
Yeah. If only Thievery Corporation was playing too. See, this I learned all about this from listening to my Massive Attack radio on Spotify.
You're just making up words now. You could say anything. I remember in high school, I was talking to a buddy who listened to a lot of like heavy metal. He'd walk in with like Nuclear Assault. I'm like, are these bands? I have no idea. And he was listening to his Walkman. That's how old this was. And I'm like, what are you listening to? And he looked at me, scoffed, and said, Demonic Possession.
Of course.
Which I was like,
is that an answer or just your announcement?
He was trying to be funny. It went right over my head. I was like, if you say so, big guy, I don't know. Anyway, will you now tell us what Willard's about? Give us a 30-second synopsis, for God's sake.
Willard is about this man-child who lives with his mom, who's the bride of Frankenstein, with a lecherous old Ernest Borgnine as a boss who treats him like shit because he's too much of a pussy to just go say, F you, I'm running this whole office, and going to get another fucking job. But he's a man-child. Meanwhile, Sandra Locke, who is not known for her choice of gentlemen, having good taste, that is,
clearly,
decides she's going to tap that Willard's A. And basically, it's another one of these cases when I saw this when I was young. This is just like Martin. When I saw it when I was young, I felt bad for the main character. And now I'm like, you're an asshole, dude.
Well, there is a thing where it's like, if someone is a total doormat, it does not inspire sympathy. It inspires more derision. You want to throw some dirt on him as well.
I agree, but not only that. So he finally finds these little friends, and they happen to be rats, and he uses them for evil bidding because they're just doing what he says, and then proceeds to try to kill them all.
Right.
Which
so shocking.
You lose all sympathy. He allowed Socrates to be killed. He's already lost his job, so he allows Socrates to die. He doesn't. He could have just ran in there first, grabbed it, and walked out. You've already been fired, dude.
You've already been fired.
What are you losing? You could have saved your little best rat friend and bounced.
Yep. He did not.
My son was watched a part of it with me. I couldn't even tell he was watching the movie because I thought he was just on his phone. And he's like, why didn't he just tell his girlfriend he has pet fancy rats? Because they're fancy rats. They're not rats that run around in your yard. They're like spotted and stuff.
If you say, I've got 10,000 rats in the basement, I don't care how understanding Sandra Locke is. She's bouncing at that point. Let's be honest.
You have to tell the whole truth. You can say, I have 4. You mean 4,000, but you said 4. So right. Instead of just taking the cat that she gifted you and giving it to a hobo in a phone booth.
That was, I had to literally rewind it when that happened, by the way. But let's reel this back in.
He's an asshole.
It was crazy. So you've seen this before, correct? Do you remember when you saw it?
No. As a kid, I'm sure I got it at that Blockbuster. It's for sure a rental. Ben and Willard.
I had never seen this before. How about that? I had
Not
never
even the Crispin. Did you see the Crispin Glover?
I saw the Crispin Glover. I think I knew it existed, but about 20 years ago, when Crispin Glover was having his little renaissance, ever so slightly.
Yeah. This was what he chose for his rebirth, right?
Which makes sense. This is very much a Crispin Glover role, honestly. Saw it, and it's the exact same movie. It's just, do you prefer Crispin Glover doing weird shit, or do you prefer Bruce Davison doing weird shit? So it's fine. I was familiar. I knew it existed, and I knew there was a sequel, Ben, that either inspired Michael Jackson to write the song, or he wrote the song for the movie, or I don't know what the story is. Do you know?
We won't know until I don't know the answer to that. I just know that I watched a docudrama about the Jacksons 1,000 years ago, long before he died, and his only friend was a pet mouse he found like under the kitchen table. I'm sure Joe stomped it or something god awful.
I think that's what happened. I think I saw it. It was a made-for-TV. It was called The Jacksons or some shit, and it was little Michael, his only friend. Even though he's got a house full of siblings, the only person who treats them nicely, not a person, it's a little rat who lives in the house because they live in Gary, Indiana, in total squalor.
Yes,
with 400 children. And then I think you're right. The abusive father, played by Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter, if I'm remembering this correctly.
Oh,
yeah, hey, that's a deep pull. I think he does.
I can totally visualize his 70s self with his afro and his cap.
Freddie Boom Boom Washington. Yeah, he stomps on. Either stomps on it or he flushes it. He kills little Ben.
Something bad happens to Ben.
100%. So that's not the movie, though. Perhaps it should have been.
It has the best song of the two rat movies.
I would go a step further. It is arguably the finest song ever in any rat movie ever in the history of cinema.
I will agree. Where's the Palme d'Oro for that? Come on,
100%. 100%. I do like that song. That song is heartbreaking and sweet. No question.
It is fantastic. Michael Jackson's greatest song, perhaps.
Perhaps. And this is young Michael. It's not a Jackson 5 song, by the way. It is only a Michael Jackson song, but performed when he was of the age of being with the Jackson 5. So I don't know. I can't explain it. Who's to say? Right. Sweet Jesus. Why don't we jump right into the highlights of Willard? What do you got?
First of all, no good thing comes from naming your child Willard.
That sounds like child abuse.
The Willies. Like Jeffrey Dahmer's mom, it was going to be like Jeffrey or Willard. You know, it was right up there with creepy names.
Fair.
Keep talking. Basically, all my notes are about how the chick who plays his mom is either the Bride of Frankenstein, Katie Nana. I think she might have been on Bewitched. She was on 1,000 things. I hope that lady died a millionaire.
I think I'm just talking off the cuff here. I think her husband was a big shot movie producer, even back at Bride of Frankenstein, if I'm remembering correctly. But let me tell you this about this movie. This movie's based on a book. It's based on a book, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It's called like The Rat Man's Diary or something like that.
That sounds like something out of Stephen King.
It does.
Stephen King has a couple of rat-related stories.
Oh, he does. Graveyard Shift, for one. Sweet Jesus. But the book focuses more on the fact that he trains the rats and then performs a series of robberies over the course where he's stealing money left and right. He only does that once in this movie, and it's such a bizarre departure. It seems strange to me that he does it. You know what I mean?
The problem is whatever's wrong with him. I don't know if it's mental illness or like an arrested development. There's something clearly wrong with him. Because even after he does the robbery and pays the bills, what the hell's the matter with you?
Right.
Why are you still effing around? And now we're just going to kill everyone.
Well, they say something along the lines of that the company, which was like a foundry or a steel mill or something in LA, which I guess that's possible.
Maybe Trump's going to reopen them.
With all the tariffs, get those foundries burning. But evidently it was the family company. It was his father's company. And his father died, and somehow Ernest Borgnine just stole the company. And they don't really explain it how, but he does.
Yeah, he did something. I think they blame the death on him too. But somehow he sucks up to Willard's mom like they're all the best of friends.
Unclear. But at his birthday party, when he goes home that night, it's his creepy mom and all of her creepy friends are there. And there was the woman with the lisp who was she trying to get on Willard? It seemed like she was constantly trying to kiss him and, I made you some custard, Willard. You want some?
He's like a boy child. I think she was like mothering him. Because I was like, why is he such a dick to all his mom's friends? I'm like, bro, clearly you ain't got any friends.
Zero friends.
These old people, like the waxwork from Sunset Boulevard, are the closest you're going to get.
Seriously. He has
I
no
mean, they
social
liked
life.
the mom. They were not mean to him. They were just weirdos.
They were, well, look, in all honesty, they were pretty typical hanging out with a bunch of 70 and 80-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right? If you went and hung out with your granny's bridge club or some shit, it would probably be something similar to this.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. But he was like a total dick. Like when the ladies would come and his mother was ill, would come to bring mom food and stuff. He was like, get the out of my house.
Well,
you want to come home? I mean, the mother is crazy, of course. And
there was codependency.
There's codependency. Yeah. But I mean, for God's sake, she called the neighbor to bring her soup instead of calling you at work for a change. You should encourage that.
Absolutely. Well, the issue was he's like 28 or something, somewhere along those lines. He works at the company, but it's like he's overworked and he kind of sucks at his job. It's like a combination of things that are happening.
Like, he's working like 7 days a week. He doesn't get raises.
Right.
The boss, I have this feeling like this is a story that the boss tells to get him to do 90% of the work that's going on there. Because nobody else seems to be doing any work. And the boss is just groping like the old receptionist.
That was a weird choice as well. Because he wasn't really going after Sandra Locke that much. At one point, he tries to get her to kind of turn state's evidence on Willard or something along those lines, convince him to sell the house. He doesn't really harass her. He only harasses like the age appropriate secretary. So who seems like she's down. She's like totally into it.
She's absolutely down. Do you want me to work late again, mister?
Because it was like Willard barges into the office and he's got his hand in her blouse, copping a feel. It was a bizarre moment.
I do love Ernest Borgnine. I do love Ernest Borgnine.
I do too. Oh, Ernest Borgnine's great.
He's such an interesting character. He's such an interesting looking person, and he can go either way. He can be like that, like the old kind of like, oh, he's safe and everything, but he can also be like, ouch, creepy, yikes.
I honestly want to go back and look at his filmography because he was nominated for like Best Actor for Marty, if I'm remembering this. And
I just listened to this podcast about that. That was supposed to be like the producers. That was something that was supposed to fail so the producers could just write themselves a check.
Oh, really?
They released it to like 2 theaters. And the wave, they said Ernest Borgnine was so amazing that the whole thing just caught fire and took off. But it was supposed to be one of these things where it was meant to fail.
Right. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. But he had kind of a weird thing because I think he was in From Here to Eternity as well. He was in some stuff, I think, in the 50s. But
he's Italian, and the old Italian people would want to fight him for fucking with Frank Sinatra and From Here to Eternity. He had to be like, hey, Frank and I are cool. We're like buddies. That's acting.
This is called acting. By the mid-60s, he was on a TV sitcom called McHale's Navy about how wacky. There was a lot of shows in the 60s about how wacky the military is, right? Gomer Pyle had his own. He was in the Marines. Gomer Pyle was a Marine. For God's sake. Right?
And don't forget those wacky Nazis in Hogan's Heroes.
100%.
Oh my God.
So this was 71. Borgnine was kind of reduced to being in a movie like Willard, for God's sakes, being the heavy, and he's good in this. I could watch Ernest Borgnine do shit all the live long day. He's dynamite.
He's dynamite.
He's absolutely dynamite. So that's the thing. There's never that moment, because sometimes this happens where there's the put upon employee who finally says, you know what, I quit, and the business shuts down because that guy really was doing all the work. And the heavy boss has to come back to him and says, oh, I'm sorry. You know, how about a raise, vice president? You know, that kind of thing. That does not happen in this movie, right? Instead, he's fired. And then the rats come a-calling.
He's fired because his boss wants to take his house, force him to sell it so he can buy it, bulldoze it down, and build apartments to get even richer.
Correct. Because Willard and his mom, they live in this, it's a mansion. It's a goddamn,
and
for just the two
of them.
It's still
there. I looked it up. It's still there in LA.
That is wild, man. So we got to go back. So Willard, we established he's horrible and he's incompetent. He comes home.
He's incompetent. If you see him, you would throw a rock or a rat at him too.
At one point, Ernest Borgnine's about to run him down with his Cadillac. And frankly, I didn't blame him. Right? It's like, I always say, if you watch Karate Kid, if you watch Karate Kid, when you meet Daniel LaRusso, you're kind of rooting for Johnny to kick his ass a little bit. Same thing.
I gotta tell you, I never liked Ralph Macchio, which is why I never saw Karate Kid, because it's like Little House on the Prairie, where you wanted Nellie to make Laura cry. Cry, Laura, cry.
Are we heartless? Perhaps. Yeah. So what happens? Willard's at home and he discovers there's rats in the yard. And because he has nothing better to do, it has no friends.
They're like super rat that already became fully trained. This is like the biggest rat training festival. I mean, these things are moving faster than any kind of dog or monkeys I've seen in movies. They're right where they're supposed to be. They're on target, ready to go. I feel like I should go outside in the alley right now and start picking up pets.
I feel 100%.
Or the plague, one or the other.
Yeah, or both. In the Crispin Glover one, they kind of make a point to say that Socrates, the white rat, is very smart. And in some ways is like kind of his interpreter or whatever it is. Like Socrates helps him train the rest. And Ben, go ahead.
He has this abnormal hatred of Ben because as far as I can tell, these two rats are exactly the same. One is white and one is brown and white. One is Socrates, one is Ben. But for some reason, he hates Ben.
In the Crispin Glover one, Ben is like huge. It's like a gigantic, like this thing is like a weasel or some shit. And he calls him Ben. He calls him Ben because he's like, oh, you're Big Ben kind of thing. Which Ben not just seems Ben. Clearly not gentle Ben. Ben in this movie seems the same as any of the other rats to me.
Yeah. Like,
how would you even tell them apart? Socrates is at least white, where all the rest are kind of black or brown or whatever. Ben just looks like one of the other ones. They say he's, for some reason, Willard falls in love with Socrates. So he's constantly carrying Socrates with him all the time. And Ben is like, hey, I want to go too.
Here.
What's up? And that pisses off Willard. So he's like, Socrates can come into bed with me.
Willard is jealous of Socrates and Ben's relationship. That's what it seems like.
Maybe. Because it is. There's scenes where now Willard has got a basement chock full of rats. He picks up Socrates to go to bed with Socrates. Ben's like trying to get out of the basement, and Willard basically kicks his ass back into the basement. He goes, stay in the basement, Ben. I hate you, or something along those lines.
I hate you. I'm going to throw a rock at you. And 2 minutes later,
there's Ben. Like, Ben is go ahead.
I have had pet rats. Pet rats are like dogs. They're very smart. They're very quick to be trained. You can play catch with them. I mean, I can see it, but the problem with rats is they can reproduce every 30 days.
Well, that's the thing. He starts out with a handful of rats, and he literally says, like, "Damn, you guys are really multiplying in here. What the hell?" So
yeah, he started off with one female rat and her 6 babies. Within
correct.
5 minutes, there was 900 rats from 1,000 miles. All the rats from LA now live in his basement.
It seems like it, because he's feeding those goddamn things. And he's opening the window.
That bag of tricks was not enough to feed the
so?
rats, the number of rats that were there. I mean, for God's sakes. I wonder what happened to them after filming. Methinks they didn't go off to live in a farm.
You don't think so? they might have that big farm in the sky, I'm sad to say. We haven't really talked about Sandra Locke. Sandra Locke is a temp that's been hired by Ernest Borgnine, and her desk is face-to-face with Willard's to help him because Willard is an incompetent. So we need somebody else to come in and help out with the work.
Right.
And she takes a liking to Willard.
Which, again, doesn't make sense. You would have just fired Willard and hired a competent employee instead of having 2 people do the job of one.
Right. Oh, 100%. None of it makes sense. And we're unclear because we don't really we see them working in like the steel mill, like during the opening credits, and then never again. Now we're just in the office. Oh, we've got orders coming in. Oh, we got client. Who knows what's happening? We don't know what anything else is going on with this business. But then, so Sandra Locke, for some reason, takes pity on Willard. And I have to say, I usually hate Sandra Locke. She's not bad at this.
I think it's one of her stronger roles. I always found when she was dating Clint Eastwood, I always found her so irritating.
I did too.
But now, after I've heard all the terrible stuff he did to her, now I'm pro Sandra Locke. So go, girl. He ruined your fucking career. Still say that this is her best acting.
You can definitely support her for her personal life. Her acting was always annoying as shit. Her acting was always annoying. But again, not bad in this. Not bad at all. Not nearly so irritating. So maybe it was Clint's direction that made her annoying.
Maybe it's effing Clint that makes you annoying. I don't know.
Could be. Can't take it off the table. But so they're kind of saddling up together and kind of hanging out and chit-chatting. Willard's mom not unexpectedly, she's like basically bedridden, but she drops dead one day while Willard's at work. And now what is he going to do? He doesn't have his mom to take care of him anymore.
And then we find out that the house is heavily mortgaged, 0 money to run the house. He's kind of screwed. Right.
She left him $1,500, but he owes like $2,500, back taxes for the property.
It was like
taxes.
$4,000. I thought it was $4,000.
It was more than he had, and he goes around and asks all of the old people to chip in, and they all give him
all the old people they told to off and never come to his house again and give me my key back, and can I have a couple $1,000? Stupid.
It did not work the way he thought. But the good thing is he took that money and bought a new car because that will help to sleep in, I guess.
Exactly. Which if I was those old folks, I'd be like, exactly. That's why you're not getting money from me. You're a dum-dum.
You are a goddamn dum-dum. But luckily, like some client comes in and is talking to Ernest Borgnine. They're backslapping and laughing. And Ernest Borgnine says, "Oh, let's give him $8,000 just for shits and giggles. Pull the money out of the till. Let this guy. He's a good client. Is that how it works? Here, just take some money." So
it kind of reminded me of Psycho. Remember that guy walked in with the money for the house in a fat envelope.
It does.
It was like opportunity. It was opportunity. I think that was their little homage.
Well, and Willard had already established that his train rats will do shit for him because Ernest Borgnine threw a birthday party for himself. And I guess invited everybody in the office except Willard, but had Willard like address the envelopes and mail the shit and all sorts of stuff. And Willard comes to the house, and it's like a huge. It's not just a pizza on the table. It's like a jubilee or some shit. There's like catering and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, it had such 60s vibe. It was like fuchsia table, fuchsia green. Everybody looking their grooviest. But that's where I realized this guy's a dick, because you throw your pets out there, someone's going to start stomping on them.
Yes,
rats and stuff.
Willard shows up.
You're willing to sacrifice for your petty revenge.
Yes, he shows up with like a briefcase that he shoved a handful of rats in there and lets the rats out. And the rats wreck the party, of course. They're like, these rats, from time to time, it looks like somebody clearly threw a rat at somebody. Like they're just flying in the air.
They're sailing through the air.
It's like, what is happening? They're in the birthday cake. And you see the shittiest fake rat just like laying there as it was like somebody's tube sock just tossed on the cake as Ernest Borgnine's like smashing it. Good Lord. So I guess Ben and Socrates survived that incident at least. But this movie, man, it is anarchy. It's freaking craziness.
It's ridiculous.
I like the scene later when Willard goes to the guy's house who's got the $8,000, breaks into the house, and immediately the wife is like, eyes snap open. And she's like, there's somebody in the, I think there's somebody that the husband, this is like how it would be with Becky and I. There could be intruders smashing the window next to the bed and I'm sleeping right through it. Right? If the wind changes, Becky wakes up.
I once woke up and my husband was talking to someone. There were people in the doorway of my bedroom. And they're like, oh, so-and-so said it was cool if we come over. And is it okay if we wait downstairs? And Dawn's like, yeah, it's cool. I said, Dawn, I woke up. They're in the wrong house. And they all looked at each other and ran downstairs. I'm like, motherfucker, we gotta start locking the front door. You're telling strangers we are in bed. And it's the middle of the night and people walked into our bedroom and you're telling them it's cool if they hang out downstairs. He's like, what? I was like, go down and lock the front door.
Was he asleep or was he Willard? Is my question.
He was asleep with Willard, I guess. I was like, what the f***? Yeah, so women immediately click on when they hear the sound. And then it's 20 minutes of trying to get your spouse to go investigate. It's fine, it's nothing, it's the wind, it's this. Or you're like, it's a raper or a zombie. Either way, it's your turn.
It's people in the wrong house. The funny thing is he's like, so he's outside their bedroom door. And rather than just open the door, he's like, I'm going to have the rats try to chew their way through the door for 20 plus minutes. As the wife's like, I'm hearing some shit. What the hell is happening? And eventually the husband goes, okay, I will eventually investigate. And he opens the door. Again, the rats don't get in until he opens the door. He goes, oh shit, there's a bunch of rats here. And the husband is literally like, I'm out of here, and runs out the door. The wife's like, wait a minute, wait for me. He was ditching his wife. Very upsetting.
And Slick Rick, they ran down the street, therefore Willard can get the money. And do what? We don't know.
I guess that was to pay the back tax.
Did he pay them?
Unclear.
Yeah, because it seems a little dumb that we then had to go on a killing rampage after this.
Well, and people are constantly going, you need to sell that house. You need to sell the house. And he's like, I'm not selling the house. He should look.
It's mortgage to the you can't afford it. People are always going to be stupid, and this is an example.
I'm not a villain, but my advice is also to sell the house. You don't have to sell it.
Can you hear the scratching at your door because
Willard? You don't have to sell it to Ernest Borgnine. You can get a realtor. I'm sure you'd do fine, right?
You can go, especially don't sell it to Ernest Borgnine, but can I have like 2 cents to rub together maybe?
Absolutely. Get a little condo. You're good to go.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know if they
let California. You're at the beach, living your best life. You and your rats.
I guess he's like, wherever I move has to have a gigantic basement for all 10 million rats. Otherwise, it's deals off.
Tell
Deals
your rats
off.
to stop having sex. Tell them they have to move away. How come we don't try that before we just start putting tens of thousands of rats into the pond in the backyard and then bury them in a hole?
Okay, let's talk about this. So he's fired because he brought his fucking rats to work, let them crawl around the record room.
Idiot.
He's a
his briefcase. Fun fact: rats just poo and pee.
Yes.
They're not like animals that will go into one place. So every time I'd see that, I can just see black raisins just rolling around the bottom of his briefcase with his bologna sandwich.
Yes, 100%. Good Lord. So Socrates is killed by Ernest Borgnine because he goes into the records room and there's a goddamn rat.
Right.
But like you said, he'd already fired Sandra Locke, who was a temporary employee anyways. I don't know if that's firing. And then fires Willard. And Willard,
and they don't fire you; they just slip an envelope on your desk.
There's 5 employees, right? Why are we putting?
So who's gonna fucking do this work now?
I guess no one else. They're gonna go bankrupt now. But so Willard's like, you killed Socrates and you fired me. He comes and brings a bunch of rats and to the office and has an issue with Borgnine. And Borgnine's like about to knock his block off. It looks like, which clearly he could do very easily. And then the rats attack, and again it's the flying rats. Ah, no, Willard! Hachi! I was just joking, Willard! Ah! And then, of course,
we can make a deal. That has never worked. That's never worked.
It's too late
really?
for that.
Come back, rats. Come back, rats. Am I vice president now? What's happening?
Well, and he says to the rats, tear him up. So this was murder. I'm sending my rats to kill you. And as everyone always does in these scenarios, there's a couple rats on my back. I'm just throwing my ass out the window.
So if he speaks rat now, couldn't he say, okay, guys, I'm afraid this is the end of the road for us. You guys are going to have to disperse because I'm going to have to sell this house. If we're just having conversation with rats, why not that? Like, you guys are going to have to go here, you guys are going to have to go there, but I got to peace out, brothers.
Well, he seemed like he looked out the window and there's Ernest Borgnine's corpse on the pavement with like rats on him. And it's, I guess we're supposed to think I'm disgusted by what we've done together. And therefore I have to get rid of the evidence. That's what I think.
It's like the last season of You, where she gets him to kill her uncle who's going to drop a dime on her. And then she's disgusted by him.
Right. You don't hear him say anything. Because it would be weird having exposition. We're talking to the rats.
There, right? He leaves them there.
He leaves them there, and then at home, he promptly starts boxing up the rats and drowning them in the stagnant pool in the backyard, which is not the nice thing to do. And then he throws the whole box. These are huge craters that he dug. I don't know, do you have like a steam shovel? How did he dig that shit? Have you tried to dig like in your Rudy backyard? It would take frickin' forever. It's a nightmare.
Tree roots. Hell yeah. I was finding concrete underneath grass. I've literally the grass had just grown over it. No. He was digging because there's 10,000 rats.
Yes.
And he had boxes stacked high, his special rat boxes, I guess. So after it was like 6 thick. So is that hole 9 feet deep? Did he just knock that out in 5 minutes? Because time didn't really seem to pass. And to me, that seems like an all-day job with your shitty shovel from 1930.
And like we said, I'm not in favor of murder by rat. But it seemed when he started drowning his own rats, that I turned against Willard pretty hard at that point. That was aggressively bad. This was like we're back in Cannibal Holocaust, essentially. It was like unnecessary violence towards rats.
It's like they don't want us to feel any sympathy for this character. Because at first you're like, oh God, this poor guy. And then you're like, him.
Well, he goes from doormat to total villain. And there's never a stopover at decent person.
No,
he never
right over.
Skipped right over that. He's hanging out with Sandra Locke. She buys him a cat because she's sad that his mom has died and he's all alone in the big house.
He could have said he's fucking allergic to cats. It's so stupid. But he's not even really fixed on her. She's stalking him.
Yes. Never buy someone a pet without checking with them first. That's a little piece of advice, especially like a dog or a cat, right? If you give somebody a betta fish, who gives a damn? If you're saying if you're giving somebody a goddamn cat or a dog, you're asking them to like take on a responsibility. I'm not down with that. But we talked about this briefly. The best thing that Willard does, and I literally had to rewind it when he did it. He pulls up at a phone booth. There's some dude on the phone. He goes, "Here, hold this for me for a second." Gives the guy the cat, gets in the car, drives away. And the guy's like, "What the f-?" Never see that cat again. The end.
Ridiculous. Again, kind of a shit move.
Kind of a shit move, to say the least. Right?
Yeah. So we all agree we hate Willard.
We hate Willard. Now, later, when he's now trying to romance Sandra Locke, he sees Ben on the windowsill.
Judging.
He probably kicks Sandra Locke out the door, and he says, "Yeah, you gotta bail." And of course, the garage or the basement is filled with 10 million rats again. The rats are back, I guess, from beyond the grave, or did they call some friends? I don't know what happened, but now there's more rats. And
it's the ones that did the job that he left showed up.
Brought friends.
He killed the ones that like hung out and stayed home. The mother, the children. These are all the husbands. And now this time it's personal.
This time it's personal. He chases Ben up into the attic, closes the door, puts a dresser in front of the door. Somehow the 10 million rats burrow through the door and are literally pushing the dresser out of the way. So these are super rats. The dresser, a 400-pound dresser, is getting moved by 4-ounce rats. So good work, guys. That's teamwork.
I told you they're smart.
They're smart. And then another scene of the flying rats.
My cat can move my couch, FYI.
Clearly, right? And another scene with the flying rats, only now they're jumping on Willard. And he says, "I was good to you, Ben. I was good to you."
No, you weren't.
No, you weren't.
I'm sorry I couldn't do anything about Socrates. Lies.
He's the worst. Any last thoughts about Willard?
Nah.
Well, then why don't we go behind the scenes, shall we?
Let's do it.
The surprise box office success of this film would inspire a huge amount of animal-themed horror films in the early 70s. How about that?
I could see this being something that like kids back in the day would go.
Okay.
No, seriously. I mean, when you go to horror movies now, if you go opening weekend, who the hell's there besides you and me?
The kids, right?
Yes.
100%. No question.
So I'm sure it's the same. It's the same people.
Yeah. Oh, no question. I mean, discriminating adults are not going to go see Willard. That's for goddamn sure. Bruce Davison had a rat placed on his shoulder as part of his audition for the part of Willard Stiles.
That wouldn't bother me.
Sense. Rats, honestly, don't bother me at all.
Unless they're wild rats.
Well, yes. If you're in your apartment and a rat skitters across the floor, I would react to that. No question.
I was having dinner al fresco in Venice one evening.
Yeah.
When I see something in the bushes run right underneath my table, I was like, "Wah!" Nobody could care. Nobody could care less. Yeah.
According to Ernest Borgnine's autobiography, the studio offered him a choice of either a higher salary or a percentage of the box office. Borgnine chose the higher salary, to his chagrin.
Dude, it seemed the logical choice.
Yeah, it did. In 1971, the year of the film's release, TV Guide said that Ernest Borgnine had to overcome a fear of rats prior to filming.
Ooh, yeah.
I think you'd have to.
I think you would have to. Like, I don't know if I could. I don't think I could be in a film. Remember that show that Joe Rogan used to be in, like Fear
Fear
Factor?
Factor.
Clearly, fear is not a factor for you. But they would they'd be in a coffin, and then they'd fill them up with centipedes and cockroaches. I'd be like, no,
No, I'm not doing
no,
that. Are you crazy?
no. I think I would pee myself and just start crying.
Absolutely. Bruce Davison and Sandra Locke were dating in real life at the time this film was made. They never appeared in public as a couple because Locke was still legally married to a gay man. So,
oh yeah,
there you go. She was married to him like I think her entire life, if I'm remembering this correctly.
that's correct, because she was not married to Clint Eastwood.
No,
that's what it was, a palimony case.
Correct. The scenes with the rats took upwards of 30 takes to get them all right. I imagine they would. What a nightmare filming this must have been.
The rat wranglers.
Absolutely. I said this earlier. The film was originally announced as Ratman's Notebooks, which is the title of the novel that it was based upon.
And that really would be a terrible name for a movie. Frankly, it's a terrible name for the novel.
The film's cast includes one Oscar winner, Ernest Borgnine, and 3 Oscar nominees. Do you know who the Oscar nominees are?
Elsa Lanchester.
That's one. Who are the other 2?
Oh. Well, not the guy who played Willard.
Actually, Bruce Davison was an Oscar nominee in the 90s, I believe.
For what?
We're going to talk about it, I think. Or we might not. I don't remember. It was called like... A Lifelong Companion, I think is what it was called, or something like that.
Oh,
look it up.
So that would have been an Emmy, right? Because that Longtime Companion.
Longtime Companion. That's what it was. Longtime Companion.
Yeah.
It says Oscar nominee.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, okay. Maybe it is. I have heard of that.
And Sandra Locke is the 3rd. She was nominated for an Academy Award in the 60s. Isn't that crazy?
For
I'll have to look it up. It's true. Whenever I talk shit about Sandra Locke's acting ability, somebody comes out of the wilderness and says, actually, she was nominated in 1968 for blah, 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 blah. And I'm like...
We just need to figure out what the blah, 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 blah is.
It's something. According to Ernest Borgnine, during the filming of his character Al Martin's death scene, he was smeared with peanut butter in order to attract the rats to make it look like they were attacking him. So there you go.
Yeah, because they're going to eat you.
In the scene where Willard is threatening Martin with a heavy stick he used to kill Socrates, Bruce Davison accidentally hits Ernest Borgnine in his foot with it. Borgnine's reaction was real. Both men later apologized to each other.
So my Lord.
Yep. It's method acting.
She was nominated Best Supporting Actress. The Heart is a Lonely Hunter.
Know it well. Let's look at the cast and crew, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Daniel Mann. You know him from... He directed Comeback Little Sheba, starring Burt Lancaster in 1952. I
feel like Burt Lancaster was supposed to be in this. I'm trying to remember from the podcast.
Maybe.
But it didn't work out. Go ahead.
The Rose Tattoo in 1955.
Okay.
I'll Cry Tomorrow in 1955.
All right.
And Tea House of the August Moon in 1956. That's a real movie.
That's real.
And let's look at the cast and crew. Bruce Davison played Willard Stiles. You know him from such things as X-Men, playing Senator Kelly in 2000.
That's right.
He was in 3 episodes of 1923. That's one of those Yellowstone spinoffs in 2022.
Oh my God. Why do you have to tell me Yellowstone things every time? I'm not watching. I'm not dead yet. I'm not watching the Shield, or I'm not watching Blue Bloods. I'm not watching anything Yellowstone related.
He was in 6 episodes of Ozark in 2022. playing
I'm not
Senator
watching
Randall
it.
Schaefer.
Actually, Ozark was supposed to be good. Isn't that with the dude from the show?
Yeah, Ozark was great. You're missing out. Yes, and in 1989, he played David in Longtime Companion. So there you go. That's what he was nominated for. Let's see. We've got Elsa Lanchester playing Henrietta Stiles, Willard's mom. You know her from Witness for the Prosecution in 1957. She was in Murder by Death in 1976, playing Jessica Marbles.
Okay.
Do you ever see Murder by Death? I always like Murder by Death.
I did. I think I did.
It's not as funny as you want it to be. It's not as funny as you'd like it to be, but it has a few chuckles in there.
Yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein. She plays both Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley and the Monster's Bride in 1935.
And she was lovely.
She was beautiful
in her youth.
She was in 1935. And in 1964, she was Katie Nana in Mary Poppins.
She was great.
She was.
She went from she hit the highlight. She was the Hollywood beauty and then became this amazing character actress.
Absolutely.
Very distinctive.
Sandra Locke played Joan Sims, the love interest, I guess. You know her from 1978's Every Which Way But Loose. She was
The Outlaw Josie Wells and every Clint Eastwood movie after that.
Bronco Billy in 1980, The Gauntlet in 1977, Sudden Impact in 1983. Yeah, she was the muse of Clint Eastwood, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Ernest Borgnine played Al Martin. You know him from such things as Marty in 1955.
Which I have never seen. I keep
never
feeling
seen it
like
either.
I need to see it. All right.
He was in The Poseidon Adventure in 1972.
Dude, I love The Poseidon Adventure.
It's
one of my favorite disaster films. It has everybody. It's the Love Boat of Death.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's got an amazing song too.
There's got to
be a morning after.
It's true. He was Cabby in Escape from New York in 1981.
God, I can't even remember that movie.
In 1953, he was Sergeant Fatso Judson in From Here to Eternity,
which I have never seen.
I feel like I saw it. It's Burt Lancaster. It's Frank Sinatra. Who else is in that? I don't remember.
I'm familiar.
Let's look at the ratings. On Rotten Tomatoes, Willard currently has 50% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you know what the audience gave it?
God, that seems high. I think that's what I would have given the new Mission Impossible. The audience gave it 62.
38.
I thought you just told me it was a sleeper hit. The problem is these are current reviews, not reviews at the time.
Perhaps.
Mother effers.
Let's take a look at the top critics. We've got Vincent Canby of the New York Times. He says, the movie, however, persists in crossing its lines of stimulation, resulting in a series of little short circuits that effectively limit pleasure to an occasional line or a bit of business. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I think he had a stroke. Is he having AI write his shit and he's not proofing it? Because what the I don't even know what that means.
It effectively limit pleasure. It's like, is he talking about masturbation? What is he doing? Vincent, leave us alone.
When I try to stroke it to rat videos, I get distracted.
That's upsetting. I get distracted as well. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times says, what is it in this film that touches some deep buried nerve in the public psyche? Why does wholesome family entertainment fade away while rats make millions? 2 out of 4.
I guess I guess I followed that stream versus Vincent Canby, who is clearly tripping his balls out and just typing gibberish.
Something.
Was he with Hunter S. Thompson while they were writing this?
I think he might have been. Now, let's talk to our resident critic, our in-house critic, AI Rex Reed. Here's what he has to say. Willard is a heartwarming tale of a socially awkward man and his army of rats. A rodent-infested revenge fantasy so bleak and bizarre it makes you root for the exterminator.
Rex, you nailed it again, Rex.
You did it again! Thank you, AI Rex Reed.
AI Rex Reed. I think this is really the only time that ChatGPT really works. I was looking at, I was on TikTok or something, and I was looking at, you know how they have like these images of rooms, you know they're not real, but there's always something wrong. So one, it was like small house design, and I'm looking at it. The chair is floating in space. None of the four legs are touching the ground. And no one is catching that shit? Thank you, AI.
Aaron, what is your rating for Willard?
Oh, my friends. My rating is... This is a hard one because you don't like him, but it's not terrible. I mean, Correct. It keeps your attention. So I'm going to give it my usual kind of half-assed. It's a 3 out of 5. Take it or leave it.
I'm similar. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5. It's not terrible, but it's not something I need to see again. You know, it's not particularly scary. You're very much, I guess, I don't know if we're supposed to root for Willard or we're supposed to hate Willard because he sucks the whole way through. I was rooting for Ernest Borgnine, if I'm being honest.
It's very similar to Martin, where like somehow we're supposed to feel sorry for him, but then we don't because he's an asshole.
Right. Well, ideally, if you're going to be a doormat, I want a nice doormat. I want somebody who's a doormat because of kindness, not because of weakness. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the issue. Like we said, his mom's throwing him a birthday party, and he reacts by grabbing a slice of cake, screaming, running out of the room, and then feeding the cake to the rats. So I
literally had my son. I'm like, he is acting like a child. Like he's a 30-year-old man who's acting like 8 or 9. My son and I had a discussion about what the age is. It's like literally 8 or 9-year-old. I'm like, oh, maybe he's special. I don't know.
He's special. So special. Any last thoughts on Willard, Aaron?
No.
Okay, well, let's move on with our lives, shall we? So, Thank you very much. Go to our pages across social media. We're on Blue Sky. We're on Threads, Instagram, TikTok. You can also see us on YouTube. Good stuff is happening there. You can also email us.
That's right. It looks like I'm naked. Woo!
It's like body double up in here. Anyway.
Relax. Don't do it.
You can also email us, the podcast that wouldn't die, at Gmail. And also, you could listen to our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you?
Won't you please?
Aaron, what is your social media situation?
I got some media. I am on the gram. I am the Cult of Aaron. Join the cult. I have some artwork on Artsy and First Dibs. Come on. Flash some cash. It's time. It's summertime. That's time to buy art.
Absolutely. I buy all my art there. So, as we like to do, we want to share our friends and family, so their thoughts and feelings across social media. So, Aaron, what do we got? Anything at all?
I've got Freddie Weisenheimer wrote into us in regard to Annabelle. They wanted to know, did I hear that Annabelle, the actual Annabelle, had been moved and apparently has escaped.
Oh, shit.
It has been moved to New Orleans. Have you heard that?
I have not, but it's terrifying. How about that?
How about the fact that the real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll?
I did know that. I did know
Yeah.
that. They changed it to a crazy doll because they feel Raggedy Ann not scary enough.
Hey, we watch dolls. It just needed to be a porcelain doll. It didn't have to look like some crazy f***ed up demon doll.
Why not, though? Oh, sweet Jesus. Next week.
That's not all.
Oh,
Scott
shit.
Haggerty wrote in about Megan. Did you? I'm sure you're watching the live feeds of Pride and WeHo, but there's a troupe of dancing Megans that they're walking around like a robot. All of a sudden, the jams start, and these girls start doing these moves, and then they snap back into formation, doing their crazy Megan walk.
I love that our friends' posts are just kind of stream of consciousness things that you just throw out
there. They are related to our episodes, sir. Clearly, you're not paying attention. Maybe if I spoke louder.
Is there a character limit where they're posting these, or is it just talk as long as you want? Who's to say?
Talk as long as you're entertaining Aaron, you can keep talking.
That is true. Next week, we're going deep beneath the ocean to discuss the horror science fiction classic Deep Star 6.
I thought you were saying the horrible science fiction.
Well, there's that as well. Starring Greg Evigan. Who else is in this thing? It's an all-star
That's
cast.
what he needed to do. I mean, Greg Evigan is a deep pull right there.
That is. Miguel Ferrer is in this.
Oh, and he's young. He's super young.
You got
he's
Torian.
He's like a little baby. He's like a Rat Pack, Miguel.
He's very young. You got Torian Black from Hill Street Blues. You got Murray from Riptide. It was basically all the ABC Thursday night lineup. They scooped as many people as they could into this cast.
Boom. You want to be, I know you're a TV star, but did you ever want to be a movie star?
Absolutely. They were signing right up. Anyway, where can you
Greg Evigan got rid of the bear and it moved right over.
They should have brought the bear. I want to see a chip running around this thing. Is that too much to ask?
I have imprinted hard on movies I watch and shows I watch in elementary. Greg Evigan, A Year at the Top, where he signs a pact with the devil so his rock band can be #1 for a year, followed by BJ and the Bear.
Oh man!
And quite frankly, he looks so young here that I want to say, did this come first?
He looks young. He looks young in this.
Yeah.
You can watch Deep Star 6 on Amazon Prime for $3.79. I'm sad to say. YouTube $3.79. Apple TV $3.99.
Yes, you bastard! I had to pay, and I think there were ads. I'm paying for ads now.
It's upsetting. Okay, that's 5 I have to edit out right then and there.
No, you don't. Just make our podcast NC-17.
Anywho, send in your favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may talk about it on the show. So, thank you very much, and be well.
Be well.